Today, we are simply just going to be playing with old makeup that I might have forgotten about. Some of this makeup I know I love, and then some makeup I'm not really sure if I want to keep or declutter it. So I hope that while you watch this video, you could also do your makeup with me and pick out some old products you haven't touched in a while. And as you watch this video, I would love to hear in the comments if there's any nostalgic old makeup products that you still love or that you might have forgotten about. I prepped my skin with the Embryolisse Multifunction Moisturizer. Then I'm gonna go in with my all-time favorite Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer. This isn't a primer that I forgot about. It's one that I'm constantly using full time. I was actually really surprised when I was looking for some products and proud of myself because a lot of the makeup that I own, I actually use and rotate out of. So it was hard for me to find makeup products that I haven't used or touched in a while because I'm always rotating them through and just figuring out how much I like a product or not. And for primer, I don't have a lot of primers I don't use. Like, this is my main go-to primer, and I switch primer depending on how my skin is that day. But if there's one that I used to use all the time that I haven't used in a while, it's the Elle Power Grip primer. I think that I used to love this because it helped my makeup have longevity. It was really good if you are working in the office, working 8 hours a day, and you need your makeup to stay on for a long time, especially when you're using foundations that don't have longevity. Specifically, the Maybelline Fit Me used to be my favorite foundation, and paired with this, I felt like it just made it a better foundation. A lot of the foundations I've been using doesn't need this gripping primer. That being said, the way that I like to use it when I'm not putting it all over my face, just take a small dot, and this is the reason why I've kept it all this time, is because sometimes when you have acne, makeup can slip off those acne spots very easily. So I kind of use it as like glue on top of my acne spots so that when I cover it, it won't slip and slide everywhere. Now for foundation, I don't know if I've ever shared this product with you on my channel. I think maybe I mentioned it once or twice in the beginning when I started my channel, but this is the Chanel Ultra Le Tint All Day Comfort Flawless Finish Foundation, and it is by far one of my favorite foundations of all time. Specifically, favorite full coverage foundation. I have been using this foundation for a few years now, and I am never disappointed every time I wear it. It does have a slight scent to it, but it's a very light fragrance, and throughout the day I don't really smell it anymore. This is the foundation that I would recommend if you feel like Estee Lauder is just too much for you, but you still want that long-lasting, full coverage, natural finish. As you can tell, that's just one flat layer. Skin before, skin after. I think it's really beautiful, and you can also build it up in areas that you need it. And I feel like the color match is kind of on point. I just haven't used this one in a while, only because I've been using the Estee Lauder, but like as I'm applying this on my face, I'm questioning everything right now. I think that this is a little bit more lightweight and less cakey than the Estee Lauder one, and the color match is also better, so that's always a win. She's expensive, but I'm telling you, if you're looking for like a high quality foundation, she is that girl. I have a lot of foundations, but every time I go back to this one, I'm never disappointed. If anything, I'm like, maybe I should get rid of all of my foundations and keep this one. It is really surprising though doing this challenge because I do have a lot of makeup, and over the years I've gained and tried so much makeup, and you would think a lot of those products go unused, but I realize I rotate through a lot of my makeup, so I'm pretty confident in how I feel about most of it. Okay, now for concealer, this is the category where I actually have so much concealer, and the reason for this is because maybe like last year or something, I did do a full video just trying a bunch of viral concealers to see which one I liked, which one was the best one, and the conclusion was honestly a lot of them were good. And so now I have so many concealers that I'm trying to get through, and the ones that I haven't used in a while is the Haus Labs concealer. This one I usually love under my eyes, and then also the L'Oreal Infallible. This was my all-time favorite for a long time, especially last year. It's the most full coverage concealer you are going to get at the drugstore. It's more bulletproof than Tarte Shape Tape. And then also the Kosas concealer, which I have been using this a lot actually. It's one of those concealers that I'm actually trying to use up, and I'm almost done with this, so that's pretty shocking. I think I'm gonna go with these two because I have used this Kosas one enough, and these ones feel a little bit older to me. So I usually use the Haus Labs concealer concealer under my eyes. This one's a more radiant concealer. It's also thicker. I like to mix it with the Huda Beauty color corrector to get more coverage. And with the L'Oreal concealer, I'm just going to use this more as like spot concealing. The best way to blend out concealer is with a very fluffy blending brush and just kind of blending it in circular motions. With the L'Oreal one, you have to work pretty fast because it is more of a drying concealer. But what I like about it is that because it's more drying, it stays where you put it. When I started this channel, I did not have nearly this much makeup. I didn't even have half of this makeup. I was very much a makeup minimalist, and that was kind of my intentions for this channel at first. Like, I only wanted to have a few products, but over time I've grown to absolutely love makeup. It has become sort of like my therapy, like sitting here and doing my makeup and just taking a long time with my makeup feels like a painting, like it feels like art, and I could sit here in silence and just do my makeup for hours. Sometimes I have like a show playing, sometimes I have music playing, and I just find it very therapeutic. I think I have transitioned from that person who wears makeup for practical reasons or to look presentable or to cover up my acne to like someone who wears makeup because it's truly something they love doing and something that they enjoy, which I think is really cool, especially being in my later 20s. It's just cool to be able to reinvent yourself but also find new hobbies that you didn't once have when you were younger. And then for under my eyes, I'm using the BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy A506. This is literally the best under eye concealer brush. I'll probably add a little bit more concealer under my eyes after I do my eye makeup. Cream bronzer. I also have a lot of cream bronzer, but I've been using the Huda Beauty Tantour almost every single day. Like, that is my full-time bronzer. I haven't touched these Laguna bronzers in a while, and I don't know why. I think it's the coloring that isn't as perfect for me than the Huda Beauty Tantours. Like, I have the original Laguna, and then I have the shade Laguna 03. I think if maybe I had like Laguna 02, it might be a better match, because I do love this formula. It's just every time I use it, it doesn't feel as satisfying as when I use the Huda Beauty Tantour. So it has been kind of sitting on the back burner for a while. I think I'm gonna use both. So I'm gonna take the lighter Laguna shade, just put it here. Yeah, this shade is definitely muddier and more like a contour shade. Yeah, okay. You can see why I don't reach for this that much. It's not really my cup of tea when it comes to coloring. And coloring really matters. When it comes to bronzer, like, this is way more of a contour color than it is a tan color for me. Not a fan. I always struggle also, like over here, my cheeks can look muddy very easily because I do have hyperpigmentation in that area. Okay, maybe that's not the color for me. Ugh, I think this is gonna have to be a declutter. Let's try this shade. This is Laguna 03. It's a bit deeper, and my forehead is usually a different color than the rest of my face, so I'm pretty sure this is the one that I preferred. Yeah, this one's a lot better, but it's still so neutrally cool toned. Like, this is not giving bronze, this is giving contour. Muddiness. Oh no, I put too much. It's a beautiful formula though, because it's more of like a soft matte formula, cream to powder, more like a moussey cream to powder formula. Y'all, did I ruin my makeup? We can fix it. I'm just gonna go back in with the foundation brush. Laguna 03 looks perfectly fine on my forehead. The regular Laguna, she needs to be decluttered. She is not staying. Maybe I won't keep Laguna 3 either because I just prefer the Huda Beauty Tantour, and this shade is not. She's not for me. And for blush and cream blushes, there's really not many products that I haven't used in a while. Again, I tend to rotate through all of my blushes, but if there's one that I don't use as often as others, it's the Patrick Ta She's the Moment cream blush. And I did use this recently though because I wanted to remind myself how I felt about it, and y'all, I still love it. I just don't know why I don't reach for it. I think it's because I prefer liquid blushes over cream blushes, so I tend to just forget about this one. It is gorgeous, and shockingly, I have really been enjoying the cream blush in this formula using the Rare Beauty blush because it's not super dewy. And it is the color peach. You know how much I love a good peach blush. That is so pretty. I think I've been kind of scarred when it comes to cream blushes. I feel like they usually are unflattering on my skin. Sometimes they're dewy, they're too sticky, but this cream blush with the Rare Beauty brush is gorgeous. And I mean, I could use it the other way. I could do the powder and then the cream. I don't like to do it that way. Yeah, this blush is gorgeous, y'all. The color is just so vibrant and peachy and coral. I think it's really flattering on my skin tone. Now, powder bronzer, on the other hand, is where I struggle. I have 3 powder bronzers that I feel like I have been neglecting, and then I have 3 other powder bronzers, maybe even more if you count my drugstore bronzers, that I rotate through. I have so many powder bronzers because I went through a phase where I was just trying to find the right one. Like, what is the right one? And I just couldn't figure it out until I got the House Labs bronzer. So that currently is my favorite. I also love the Gucci bronzer, the Victoria Beckham bronzer, and I love these. So if you are wondering, Elle, what's the best bronzer? Which one should I get? Truthfully, a lot of them are good. You can even go to the drugstore and there's great bronzers at the drugstore. So you don't really need to splurge on powder bronzer. I think the most important thing to note is that shade matters. So if you don't like a powder bronzer, it might not be because of the formula itself, but it's likely because the shade doesn't like really fit with your skin tone. That could be the problem that you're having. So I have the Pat McGrath Labs powder bronzer, the LYS powder bronzer, and the Fenty Beauty Caramel Cutie powder bronzer. Now the Fenty Beauty powder bronzer, I like this because of the color. It is like a warm yellowish murky brown bronzer color that I just have never seen before. I think I need to fix the NARS bronzer on my face. So I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Beauty. I want to give a big shout out to the BK Beauty 111 brush. They did send this to me in PR. Any BK Beauty brushes you see, they sent it to me in PR. I will link it in the description if you're interested, but this video is not sponsored. I just wanted to give them a shout out because I use them in a lot of my makeup looks in a lot of my videos, and this bronzing brush is by far my favorite. It's just like the perfect size, and then just bronze up the face. Like the brush is fluffy, but it's also kind of chiseled at the same time, which I love. I cannot tell. Is this doing anything? Oh, it is. Okay. Sometimes when I'm like doing my makeup, I'm like, I can't see any product. Yeah, you can tell this is way more of a natural bronze color on me. The more I talk about this, the more I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it just because it's a very unique bronzing color that I don't have. Going back in with the Patrick Ta She's the Moment brush. Not brush, blush. Concentrate this a little bit more towards the apples of my cheeks. And the excess I just kind of blend outwards. She is the moment. She's gorgeous. Oh my gosh. This is a good reminder. I think I'm gonna transition this to like my go-to blush for the next month or so because it is really, really pretty. Okay, now for powder, I'm gonna use the Huda Beauty Banana Bread Easy Bake powder. This one's fragrance free. I have been using, I'm not gonna lie, my one size powder more often just because I feel like it makes my skin so much more matte, smooth, and blurring. I still love this one, but I think I love the one size more. But let's give Huda Beauty some love. I'm just really sad that she didn't make the fragrance free version permanent. I completely forgot. Before I go in with powder, I'm actually going to use a setting spray. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. She smells so freaking good. This is, I think, my 3rd bottle of this product. I did go through a phase where I took a break from it, so once I finished, I think like my 2nd bottle, I wanted to see if I could go without it, and now that I'm using it again, I'm like, I kind of miss it. She is very dewy, so what I like to do is just pat out the dewiness with a sponge, especially if you have oily skin. I like the setting spray because it melts all of my makeup together, but it just makes you really shiny. Now we can go into our Huda Beauty baking powder. I am not sure why she didn't make the fragrance-free version permanent. I mean, I do really love the fragranced version. That stuff smells so darn good. It gave me like small acne bumps under my eyes, and this one just works a lot better for my skin. Yeah, this powder is a lot more smooth and less cakey than the One Size by Patrick Ta or Patrick Star. I feel like the coloring is a little pale though. No, like I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but usually if I apply the One Size powder the way that I'm applying the Huda Beauty one, I find that sometimes it can appear just a little too heavy on the face. And always powder your eyebrows because this is the area where you kind of get a lot of shine sometimes. Yeah, I know I love this and I definitely will not be decluttering it. You can rip this out of my cold dead hands, okay? And while we do this with the face, I'm actually gonna go in with some eyeshadow, which is my favorite part. I have recently been obsessed obsessing over eyeshadow, that is what I've been playing with a lot. I've been rotating through a lot of my eyeshadow palettes, seeing what kind of looks I can create, going outside of my comfort zone. So slowly but surely I am falling back in love with eyeshadow. The one palette that I haven't used in quite a while is the MAC Connecting Colored Unfiltered Nudes palette. When I started my channel, this was in a favorites video and I loved it when I first got it, but now I'm kind of like, there's so many other eyeshadow palettes that I own that I love more. I love the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 3, and this color story isn't fully up my alley. I think that if I'm being truthful with myself, I did buy this mainly because of this muddy yellow kind of pukey color, and I also wanted the nostalgia of MAC eyeshadows. But now that I've been playing with a lot of eyeshadow, I've learned that I have a preference for more powdery eyeshadows, similar to the ABH eyeshadows, Sigma Beauty eyeshadows, the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions eyeshadows. I'm not too big of a fan of eyeshadows that are super hard pressed, and these are kind of that. Like, not that they work bad, it's just I don't feel like they are as fun to work with or as easy to work with. I hate when they get hard pan. With that being said, we are going to use this palette today to see how I feel about it. I don't think I'm going to be decluttering this just because I do love that yellow color in there, and in my head I'm like, I should have just bought the yellow color as a single because I do have the shade Uninterrupted as a single, but it's kind of too late. Now I have the palette, so that's that. Prime my eyes with the NARS, I was gonna call it primer potion. It's just the smudge proof shadow base. And because I do want a little bit of color on the lids of my eyes still, I went back in with the L'Oreal concealer and just blended it out on the lids just for some base. Now we're gonna play with this really muddy, pukey yellow color. I used to use this as like a crease shade, so we're just gonna blend it into the crease like so. I would wake up at like 6, sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning just to do my hair and makeup before school, which is absolutely insane. Couldn't be me now. Like, that would not be me. But I used to love it so much that I would go out of my way to do that. But also, I feel like it came out of some insecurity. Like, I did struggle a lot with acne growing up, so it kind of felt like something I had to do in some ways. And as I went through college, makeup fell on the back burner because I ended up transitioning to being obsessed with fashion. I wasn't really involved in the 2016 like makeup era of things, followed a lot of the same trendy makeup techniques, but I wasn't fully into the community as I am now when it comes to makeup. Now, when it comes to makeup, I'm very much in tune as to what's trending, what products are out there, new makeup styles. I wear a lot more makeup than I used to. One of my first memories of like being creative with makeup was when I was in middle school. I used to just try to like do crazy eye looks. Like in middle school, like I was probably like 13. Well, no, 11, 12 actually, and 13. I vividly remember, I wish I had a picture, creating like a candy corn makeup look and getting comments. I don't know if it was comments or compliments, but I was so proud of myself for doing that eye makeup look before school. It was literally just yellow, orange, and white, kind of like gradient on my eyes. And then there was another phase where I think it was the Urban Decay like glitter gel liner. I put that underneath like my eyes, and I would get comments throughout school. Like my teacher would be like, it looks like you're crying because the silver glitter literally made my eyes look like tears. And then there was one time I wore my mom's NARS Orgasm blush, and my middle school crush was like, why is your face glittery? And it's because I was wearing blush. Then I'm gonna go in with the shade Sonic Chocolate, and I'm just gonna apply this lower on the crease and a little bit on the outer V. I think my 20s have been kind of a hard phase of my life. I feel like I'm going through a second puberty, and I find it really interesting how when I discovered makeup, I was going through puberty, and now I'm rediscovering makeup, re-falling in love with makeup, and it feels like I'm going through a second puberty where I'm still just trying to figure myself out and figure out what really matters to me and kind of mourn the loss of like my younger self, you know, but also keep parts of my younger self that I still want to be alive. And I feel like makeup is one of those things. Okay, now we're gonna go in with like a flat smudging brush and take this kind of dark blackish color. It's in the shade give me cyberspace. And I'm gonna create my famous smoky little blended out wing situation. I feel like if it wasn't for lockdown and it wasn't for staying home for like a year or two, being stuck in the house, like I wouldn't have rediscovered makeup. During that phase of life, I had so much time to just consume content, but also to learn something new. And that's when I started playing more with eyeshadow and really finding more of a creative angle of makeup instead of just using it to cover up my acne. I think when I think of myself as like a creative person, I'm creative when it comes to beauty, I'm creative when it comes to fashion, I'm creative when it comes to video. I'm not creative when it comes to drawing or like painting or anything like that, but I do know a lot of the fundamentals and I kind of transitioned that into makeup. And I think it's just because makeup is what and beauty in general is what I'm very passionate about, so I just have spent so much time learning about it, and it has become a healthy obsession in my opinion. We are gonna put something shimmery. I'm wearing a green sweater for the holiday season, even though it's only October. So I'm gonna go in with the Victoria Beckham. This is the Lid Luster in the shade Velvet. Beautiful shimmery green color. I haven't used this one in a while, just because I've been playing with other eyeshadows, but if I could, I would wear this almost every day. Like, it's so pretty. Just gonna apply this on the lid. That is so freaking pretty. Every time I wear this, I'm just excited. I love this. I love this so much. But now that I'm kind of reflecting on this eyeshadow palette, yeah, I just don't think the quality is there. Like, it's very much an old-fashioned like eyeshadow formula. In my opinion, like it works. I'm just gonna go back and kind of like add more colors and fix some of what I have. It works, but I don't think the blend is as seamless as eyeshadows that are a little bit more powdery. I think everyone, obviously, you can have your own preferences of what you like, but I find that the drier, more hard-pressed eyeshadow formulas are a little bit harder to work with. I find that I have to like really dig into there, really like press hard to blend. Okay, I think I want to do slightly brighter inner corner, so I'm gonna take this gold shade right here. It's in the color Dial Up the Gold. Using a pencil brush, I'm just going to lightly tap it on the inner corners. Nothing crazy. Ooh, that's pretty. Also going to kind of put this in the middle of the eye to brighten up the center. Okay, so I just tightlined my eyes with some brown liner, but I'm going to use the L'Oreal Telescopic Lift Waterproof Mascara. I feel like I haven't used this in a while. My favorite mascara is the L'Oreal Butterfly. If you watch my videos, you know that. But I remember using this one and also loving it. It just wasn't as good as L'Oreal Butterfly. And I actually hate a lot of mascaras, but this one came close. So if you're interested in the L'Oreal Telescopic Lift, which is the one that went viral because of Michaela's alleged lie, it is actually really good. It's just a little clumpier, and I feel like the brush isn't as good as a L'Oreal Butterfly. I wonder if I switch brushes, maybe I feel like this formula is gonna be better. It gives more of that like grungy mascara look, like messy mascara look, which I don't hate, but I don't always prefer. And it's not a super wet formula, so my curls don't fall that quickly. So this is without the mascara. This is with the mascara. Yep. It is gorgeous. One of the only drugstore mascaras that actually come close to my favorite butterfly mascara. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the fun part. Lip products is what I have a lot of, and so rotating through all of them isn't always feasible. So I'm just going to swatch on a bunch of things on my lips, see which one I like for today's look, but also show you and remind myself how these lip products actually look on me. I do rotate through a lot of my lip liners, but the Patrick Ta lip crayons and Oh She's Single and She's Strong are ones that I don't seem to reach for that often. I think it has to do with the colors. Like, I don't think the shades of these lip liners stand out for me, like my Charlotte Tilbury Foxy Brown or my Hourglass lip liner. So we'll see. Let's try on Oh She's Single and see what that looks like. Also, the applicator, not my favorite. I like a wooden pencil. Okay, this is more of like a chestnut brown. I'm gonna see if I can pair it with one of these Chanel lip duos. I have the shade in Intense Caramel and Tender Beige. Let's do Intense Caramel because that's more warm tone. I wore this religiously for like 2 or 3 months last winter. That's okay. Oh, it's kind of pretty actually, once you put the gloss on. Okay, actually, this might be the lip color with the eyeshadow. This is in the shade She Is Strong. I think this is more of a cool tone probably. Yeah, this is more of a cool tone brown. It's a little waxy. Okay, I like this shade because it's kind of like a contour lip color. Not too shabby. I have two contenders here. This one is the Rem Beauty Classic Lipstick in the shade Lingerie. And then I also have the Rare Beauty Matte Lipstick in the shade Wise. These are both sort of cool tony colors. I think Wise is a little bit more warm toned. Let's try Wise for Rare Beauty. My lips are dry as heck right now, and I don't really like it with the eye look, but that's a really pretty lipstick for the fall. Again, it's just out of my comfort zone, and so I don't think I wear it because it's out of my comfort zone. I need to find like an eye look that I can pair this with that I'll always want to wear this for. So that'll be the next challenge. But I do really like this formula. I do think the shade is gorgeous, especially because we're now moving into the autumn. Maybe I can remind myself to wear this a little bit more. So in conclusion, those lip products, there's a reason. There's a reason why I haven't touched them in a while. I think they're just colors that are a little bit more outside of my comfort zone. I feel like I would only really wear these if I can find like a makeup look. Oh, my hair's bothering me. A makeup look that it actually goes with. I think for today's eye makeup, I tend to reach for more warm tone colors than I do cool tone colors. And I am kind of experimenting a little bit more with grays and smoky kind of cool tone shadows for the autumn and fall time. So I'm not fully scared of the cool tones, but there's a trend here that I'm seeing. And when it comes to the Patrick Ta lip liners, I think I don't reach for these because I don't even know if I like the formula, truthfully. So these are something I might have to consider decluttering. I have to give it some more chances, you know, before I make such rash decisions. Until then, I'm going to show you one of my favorite lip combos, especially for a look like this. Charlotte Tilbury, Foxy Brown. She's the love of my life, okay? Yeah, this one is so much smoother. It has like that waxy feel that the Patrick Ta one has, but it just glides on so much smoother. I feel like the application of the line is also more precise. The lipstick I'm going to use is shockingly drugstore. This is a hidden gem, okay? It's the Elle Satin Lipstick in the shade Hustle. It's just a nude, warm tone, kind of like orangey color. I'm going to dab this on my lips. So we are gonna have to put on a gloss because my lips are wrinkly today. This is the Buxom Moscow Mule Gloss. I always get comments and questions like, what is the gloss you're wearing? It's probably Moscow Mule. This is one of my go-to lip combos, and I just think it's really fitting, especially because I wear a lot of peach blush. The peach nude lips with Moscow Mule, I just feel like everything goes. I love more of like a peachy kind of lip color and blush color with green eyeshadow. So hopefully this inspires you to play with some of your old makeup that you might be neglecting, or comment down below if there are any nostalgic makeup products that you still use or that you wish would come back. If you are new to my channel, then I hope you subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed, and as always, I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye!